Good morning. This is a presentation about Martha Elizabeth Rogers, presented by Merly Berina, Warren Hinoyog, Dolly Yamajon, Melody Salido, and Noel Pagirigan. To begin with, who is Martha Elizabeth Rogers? Martha Rogers is an American nurse who was born on May 12, 1914 and died in March 13, 1994. She had her nursing diploma in 1936, her BS degree in 1937, and MA degree in 1945. She had her doctorate in nursing in 1954, and she is a member of the American Academy of Nursing. The Rogerian theory provides a body of knowledge in nursing and a way of viewing the unitary human being. She also said that human beings are integral with the universe. She also said that human beings and the environment are one and not dichotomous. Change of pattern of organization of human fields and environment is propagated by waves. The identification of the pattern provide knowledge and understanding of human experience. The four building blocks of Rogers' theory are energy fields, universe of open systems, patterns, and pan-dimensional. The concepts. Energy field is the fundamental unit of both living and non-living. It provides a way to perceive people and environment. It continuously varies in intensity, density, and extent. Openness. Human field and the environmental field constantly exchanging their energies. There are no boundaries or barriers inhibiting energy flow between these two fields.
Now I will discuss with you the nursing paradigms of the Rogers theory. First is the person. It is a unitary human being, which is an irreducible, indivisible, pan-dimensional energy field identified by pattern and manifesting characteristics that are specific to the whole and which cannot be predicted from knowledge of the parts, and a unified whole having its own distinctive characteristics which cannot be perceived by looking at, describing, or summarizing the parts. Second is the environment, which is an irreducible pan-dimensional energy field identified by pattern and integral with the human field. The field coexists and are integral. The third one is health, an expression of the life process, and they are the characteristics and behavior emerging out of the mutual simultaneous interaction of the human and environmental fields. Health and illness are the part of the same continuum. The multiple events taking place along life's axis denote the extent to which man is achieving his maximum health potential and vary in their expressions from greatest health to those conditions which are incompatible with the maintaining life process. The fourth one is nursing, which exists to serve people. It is the direct and overriding responsibility to the society. The safe practice of nursing depends on the nature and amount of scientific nursing knowledge the individual brings to practice, the imaginative, intellectual judgment with which such knowledge is made in service to the mankind. In 1970, Rogers identified the following 5 assumptions that are also theoretical assertions supporting her model derived from literature on human beings, physics, mathematics, and behavioral science. First is the energy field. Man is a unified whole possessing his own integrity and manifesting characteristics more than and different from the sum of his parts. The second is openness. Man and environment are continuously exchanging matter and energy with one another. Third is the helice. The life process evolves irreversibly and unidirectionally along the space-time continuum. Fourth is the pattern and organization. It identifies man and reflects his innovative wholeness. The fifth one is the sentient, thinking being. Man is characterized by the capacity for abstraction and imagery, language and thought, sensation and emotion. The principles of homeodynamic postulates the way of perceiving unitary human beings. The fundamental unit of the living system is an energy field. The three principles of homeodynamics are resonancy, helicity, and integrality. First is the resonance, which is the intensity of change. It is an ordered arrangement of rhythm characterizing both the human field and environmental field that undergoes continuous dynamic metamorphosis in the human environmental process. Second is the helicity, which is the evolution. It describes the unpredictable but continuous non-linear evolution of energy fields as evidenced by non-repeating rhythmicities. The principle of helicity postulates an ordering of the human's evolutionary emergence. The third one is integrality, which is the wholeness. The mutual, continuous relationship of the human energy field and environmental field. The changes occur by the continuous repatterning of the human and environmental fields by resonance waves. The fields are one and integrated but unique to each other. Now, what is the relevance of Rogers' theory to 21st century nursing practice? In this model, the role of the nurse is to serve people. Rogers also proposes non-invasive modalities for nursing such as therapeutic touch, humor, music, meditation, and guided imagery, and even the use of color. The interventions of nurses are meant to coordinate the rhythm between the human and environmental fields. It helps the patients in the process of change and to help patients move toward better health. The practice of nursing, according to Rogers, should be focused on pain management and supportive psychotherapy for rehabilitation. It is often important to look at both the patient as a whole person and the patient's environment when treating the patient for an injury or illness. Martha E. Rogers' Science of Unitary Human Beings addresses the importance of the environment as an integral part of the patient and uses that knowledge to help nurses blend the science and art of nursing to ensure patients have a smooth recovery and can get back to the best health possible. The Rogerian model is also important in research because it provides broad principles that conceptually direct theory development. The conceptual model provides a stimulus and direction for scientific activity.
Here is our case study. Mrs. Brown, an 82-year-old woman, was newly admitted to the acute medicine unit of Baycrest Hospital. She had a fall in the living room and caused mid-shaft clavicle fracture. She was living alone before admitted to the hospital. Within 6 months, she had history of dizziness while walking and had intermittent falls at home. And the day before she was admitted to the hospital, she had a fall that caused fracture and confusion. She was not able to say how she got admitted and failed to provide any medical history. Her daughter lives close to her house. As per daughter's information, she has history of dementia for the last 4 years, type 2 diabetes, and hypertension. Upon incidence of fall, patient had fracture of left clavicle and complained of pain. The physician ordered to apply shoulder brace and to transfer Mrs. Brown to acute medicine unit. Mrs. Brown is having difficulty to adapt to hospital environment and she hasn't taken any food or fluids after she was transferred to the unit and has experienced difficulty in following instructions and she is more confused. The principles of hemodynamics, as per the Rogers theory, the nursing process has 3 steps. First is the pattern appraisal, voluntary mutual patterning, and evaluation. Pattern appraisal, it is the assessment areas, include the total pattern of events in the life of client at a given point of time, simultaneous states of the client and his or her environment, rhythms of the life process, supplementary data, categorical disease entities, subsystem pathology, and pattern appraisal. It is essential to have a comprehensive assessment of human being and her environment based on her pattern. Under pattern appraisal, Mrs. Brown, unable to carry out her activities of daily living such as bathing, dressing, brushing, and toileting. Daughter is afraid that Mrs. Carter is more prone to get infection because of her present condition, and she is more becoming confused. Daughter is also worried with the hospital infections that Mrs. Carter can acquire while she is in the hospital that might lead to serious medical issues. In the objective data, there is the fracture of left clavicle with application of braces. Patient is underweight with weight of 98 pounds, noted to be picky eater and unable to feed herself. In the subjective data, patient complains of pain and discomfort intermittently and rates pain as 8/10.
Assessment of stimuli is concerned with factors that influence behavior. Stimuli are classified as focal, contextual, or residual. Focal stimuli: impaired mobility, diagnosis with type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and dementia. Contextual stimuli: bed rest, her age, underweight, inadequate intake of calories and protein in her diet. The assessment under physiological mode is completed. Client goal: pain management, orientation to the unit, right positioning and use of simple language helps Mrs. Brown to own ability for the movement of the left arm and focus to proper communication. Mutual patterning. The mutual patterning of the Mrs. Brown and the environment included sharing of knowledge, offering choices to her and family, empowering her and family members, repeated pattern appraisal, like her dietary pattern, work, leisure activity, awake, sleep cycles, relationships with family and others, pain, hopes, and self-reflection were identified. Assess the knowledge level of the patient and daughter regarding the patient's case. Encourage verbalization of patient's concerns. Neurological assessment by checking the level of alertness and cooperation with the patient. Pain assessment with palpation over the fracture site using pain scale and quality of pain. Assess the risk factors such as loss of skeletal integrity, weakness, and issues of safety. Assess for any deformity. Respiratory assessment of respiratory function such as respiratory distress or abnormality. Repositioning every 2 hours when she is in bed to prevent joint contracture and avoid pressure on the skin surface while on brace. Educate the family and hoe to prevent bed sores. Monitor the affected area daily to note for any changes on skin color, sensation, and movement. Check capillary refill of left arm to make more independent. Assessed for ROM to increase muscle strength and enhance motor functions. Collaborate with dietitian for calorie count, OT for mini mental state examination, PT for active exercises, SW for rehab plan, and CCAC for home care after discharge from hospital. Promote to provide the best service available for the patient and daughter. Empower patient and daughter, especially in doing ROM exercises. Pain management for comfort. Change incontinent product as needed to prevent skin breakdown. Assess sleeping pattern. There might be changes because she can adopt in the hospital, which is new to her. Encourage, educate patient to eat the meals as planned by the dietitian.
Client evaluation. Based on the principles of nursing process, comprehensive nursing care was given to the client and family. After 3 days of post-admission, her swelling on the left shoulder is decreased. Patient takes food by herself by using right arm and cooperate for doing ADLs. Pain has decreased. Mobility is much easier. Application of Rogers system model of care could illustrate Mrs. Brown as a whole, how she has been interacting with her environment and the need to modify the environment according to her condition. It is recommended to use Rogers system model by nurses in their day-to-day practice so as to provide comprehensive nursing care to the clients. Conclusion. To be concluded, through our presentation, we have tried to explain the great theorist Martha E. Rogers describes that human beings are dynamic energy fields that are integral with the environmental fields, building blocks for the model and fundamental ideas about the theory and its concepts, its practice methodology in the real-life situation by presenting a detailed case study. The case study shows Mrs. Brown tried to her own ability for movement of the left arm and focus to proper communication and good result of pain management, adjusting to the new environment and discharge plan, and thus helps the better life of wellness. The presentation explains structuring nursing education programs to teach nursing as a science and as a learned profession. Moreover, Rogers' model discussed the values and beliefs about human beings, health, nursing, and educational process. Therefore, we expect further study and research identifies the nature of nursing and promote higher standards of level of care and thus utilize knowledge, creativity, and integrity for nursing profession. Thank you.